And welcome to Outstanding Women Leaders, our professional coaching and podcast. I'm your host, Katie L. Eads. Our professional coaching is our organization dedicated to empowering women in leadership, relationships, and life. I was on a mission to host 100 million witty and wise conversations that inspire you, disrupt the way leaders think, and stir your soul into aligned action. That inspiration begins with a set of rules to guide our conversation today. Rule number one, nobody gets to be wrong. Rule number two, nobody gets to be right. Rule number three, everybody gets to be vulnerable. My favorite rule, everything is included. There might be a dog bark at this episode. They're feeling a little restless today. We do not edit here. This conversation is exactly what it needs to be in this moment in time. We've asked our guests to join us via video to allow us to create authentic connection. Eyes are the window to the soul. You'll be seen here. You'll be heard. There's space for you. When this conversation comes to a close, I will ask our guests 3 questions. If you've tuned in before, you know what they are. If you haven't, you don't want to miss them. But enough about me. Today, I'm excited to welcome Outstanding Women Leader, Lesley Pyle. She is the founder and CEO of HireMyMom.com, a remote job platform connecting small businesses with virtual professionals across the country since 2007. Lesley began her work from her home journey in 1995 after having her first child and started her first online business in 1996. She serves on the board of directors for Mighty Oaks Foundation, the Texas Youth Foundation, and is a contributing writer to the entrepreneur.com. Currently, her and her family reside in Texas. Welcome, Lesley.
Well, thank you, Katie. It's a joy to be with you today.
I love having a female founder on that built a business online in the 90s. I feel that way when I talk to the kids about my first business I built on social media before they went public. Um, and it was the land of the free to play. Um,
Yes.
but before we start there, you also started in corporate. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you found yourself founding a company.
Yeah. So I am a first generation college student. So once I put myself through to get my bachelor's degree, I had high aspirations to really climb the corporate ladder. And when I didn't immediately get hired out of college, I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll just look for a scholarship to get my master's degree. So that sounded like a great idea. And this was pre-internet. So to look for scholarships, you had to go to the library. So I went to the library and found this big giant book of scholarships and, tagged several that I was interested in, but one stuck out because it was a scholarships to study anywhere in the world, fully paid from the Rotary Foundation. So I started with it, and lo and behold, I won that scholarship. So that allowed me to study and get my master's degree in PR and marketing in Scotland at the University of Stirling. So, as you can imagine, I was feeling really proud of myself for accomplishing all of these things and was really looking forward to starting my career in public relations. So, I landed my first job. It was actually doing PR for a national golf school. So, I promoted their golf school around the country to, it was like celebrities and big people that were, into to really improving their golf game. So, in the early days of starting that job, I knew that we also wanted to start a family. And so, as I said, I had no intentions of leaving that career. However, when my baby was born, there was such a huge shift in me that I was struggling with how am I going to go back to work because I really don't want to leave her every day with someone else, someone that doesn't know her, doesn't love her the way I do. And so I did go back to work and I was miserable. I cried every single day, and I'm not a emotional person. I don't cry easily and that sort of thing. So I really did a lot of soul searching and a lot of praying and a lot of talking to my husband, like, what does this look like and what can we do? And, this was back in 1995. So working from home was not popular, not even common. No one was doing it. So I did go to my employer and say, is there any opportunity for flex, like work from home 1 or 2 days a week or anything? And they were not open to it at all. So they understood where I was at, and I left on good terms and hit the ground running to start a freelance business. Because even though we cut our budget everywhere we could, because we were losing a salary, going from that to basically nothing. And we were dependent on 2 incomes for this brand new house, very small, modest house that we had just bought to start our family. So we sold one car. We became a 1 car family because that 1 car did not have a car payment. We got rid of every bill that we could, like cable TV and that sort of thing. And then we just cut our grocery bill as much as possible. So we ate like ramen noodles that were like 10 cents a bag back then. And we were used to it because we went to college together and we both put ourselves through college. So that determination to find clients worked to my benefit because I was able to get a few clients slowly but surely. But then my next challenge was, okay, I cannot be the only new mom trying to run a brand new freelance business and take care of an infant and juggle all these balls. And so there was so much to learn, and I knew that I couldn't be the only one. So I began searching for any type of organization, association of moms who either worked at home or wanted to work at home, and I could not find anything. So that led me on my next journey to start a website. So this is when I was just learning about the internet. It was 1996. And so I went and bought a software to create a website. And I built this website on my own. And it was called Home Based Working Moms. And it was similar to like an online chamber of commerce. So moms who were working at home or wanted to work at home could sign up and join either as a free membership or as a paid member that got more perks. And it was so great to meet other women across the country who either were doing the same thing or wanting to do the same thing, to learn from each other, support each other, buy from each other. We had message boards because this was before social media. So it gave us a way to connect and talk. We had a print newsletter because it was before email. So anyway, I did that for about 14 years. And then I was noticing that our business culture was shifting and there was more openness to working from home. I was seeing, companies not like closing that door completely. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could create a platform where I could bring businesses together with moms who are looking for legitimate work from home jobs? So that's where the idea of Hire My Mom came back in 2007. So I already had that established audience of women. I just had to build up that business side.
Mm.
And I'll take a breath because that was a lot.
Yeah, it's such an inspiring story to hear. You use the word determination. And for those that tune into my community and have come to my classroom, they know that determination shows up in my chart in several places. And I've always felt those small steps forward every step of the way. And what I hear is it wasn't something that was born out of determination, even to make money from this Chamber of Commerce space, but really build a community, and yet there was an opportunity for you to monetize it back
Mhm.
before anybody was doing groups and free
Right,
memberships, which is my
right.
favorite part, is the invention that you
Mhm.
really brought to this. So
Yes.
talk, and so how do you pivot? I imagine you're not downloading software in 2007 to build your next website. How do you know when to hire and when to scale and when to bring on people to support you?
Yes, great question. So back with my first website, that was when I made my first hire with Home-Based Working Moms. And it was when I began to notice that I was stretching myself too thinly. I didn't have time to do things that I wanted to do to help grow the business. So I needed someone to help come alleviate some of those administrative tasks. So one of the first people that I hired was a virtual administrator or admin, and she took off a lot of the daily tasks that she could handle and I didn't have to. And then from there, the next person I hired for that website, excuse me, was an ad salesperson because that website not only did it have a membership option, but we also sold ad space on that website because this was when I don't know if you may not be old enough to remember when things like creative memories and
Yeah, I was
well,
there. I
Pampered.
was there when Google was invented.
Okay. You look young.
Thank you. I'm a
um, Okay. I would have never guessed. But so Pampered Chef, Creative Memories, Tupperware, all those type of home party businesses would advertise to try to recruit other people to their home party business, if you will, and those types of. So we had an ad revenue stream and the membership stream. So those were my two first hires with it. And then when I transitioned to start Hire My Mom, I did hire a web developer to create that website because by then websites became too technical and way beyond my abilities. I knew that I needed an interface that would allow job seekers to upload resumes, cover letters, and businesses to create job posts. They would have to be able to interact. And we'd also have the credit card option and all. So that was the first hire with her. My mom was a web developer.
So what I hear is that when you focus on hires that would bring in more revenue to pay for themselves.
That's right.
Yes. Talk us through a little bit of strategy on how you decide to make hires.
Yeah. So the first thing is, when you are a business owner, you're always looking for ways to grow your business, unless you're just content where you are, but not many people are. They're always looking to grow and scale. So a lot of times you have to look at what's bogging you down as the business owner. Are you the one that is creating the growth? If so, how do you effectively outsource the rest of what's on your plate so that you can focus on growth? And if growth is not your cup of tea, then hiring someone to help with that growth. And that's an investment. So you have to, be willing to maybe take a small pay cut so that you can invest in that marketing or growth person to help you grow your business. And that's usually, may not be overnight, but that's, a season that I did that very thing is I took a pay cut, what I was paying myself. I'd been there before. I knew what it was like, but it's an investment you make into growing your business.
So what I also hear there is that you have pay to cut before you're hiring other people in your business as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes when I talk to business owners, I didn't make a lot of the traditional mistakes similar to you, I think in part because I was in a space that nobody had done before. And it's so I wasn't hiring a business coach that told me to do it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes what I see is business owners are hiring people, but they're still not paying themselves. I was guilty of that in my very first business.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about how do you build your business up enough as a solo person doing the admin work to even reach the amount of money? You've got a little bit of a PR background. I'm sure people would love to hear a little bit of that journey for you too.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say that PR background was my secret weapon when I started Home Based Working Moms and when I started Hire My Mom, because I had the opportunity. Way back then it was mailing press releases to the media, and I was very fortunate because it was such a novel idea that it got picked up in national magazines. I got to do radio shows before podcasts. I even did a couple of national TV shows where I got to share about what I was doing, and then with Hire My Mom, that too was very unique when I started it. So, when you have something unique, you have a little bit easier time getting in front of the media. Now, 18 years later with Hire My Mom, it's not so easy to get in front of media because there's a bazillion job sites now. None of them are exactly like Hire My Mom, but there's, differences and similarities to some of the others. So it's a lot harder these days to get in front of the media. But I would just say that persistence, I think two things worked well for me, and it was the dedication or persistence that I had, but also the passion. Very passionate about figuring out a way to be at home with my kids, as we continue to have kids. And then it became a passion of mine to help small business owners, because I was now a small business owner, find and hire great talent that didn't break the bank. So a lot of these moms are willing to take a little bit less of a salary or hourly wage for that flexibility. And so that works to the benefit of the business owner because they can hire some amazing talent and not pay these six-figure salaries. Because I know that I was in that place as a freelancer. I was willing to work for less than, uh-oh.
They just ran out of battery. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. So that worked to my advantage too. It's just having that, lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Yeah, so you were talking about what led to the advantage of you being able to get in front of people and hire and scale without getting $100,000 salary, right?
Oh,
And to get really good talent and not have a massive salary for them.
yeah, absolutely. So that's, an advantage for the business owner, but it's also an advantage for the person who's wanting to leave the career and take that, because a lot of times the flexibility and the freedom is worth a lot too, especially moms that are looking for that. And, as that job seeker or that mom gains traction and experience and things like that, then, sometimes they'll go off and start their own business. And then, of course, then their salary is unlimited depending on what they're doing. So I have several people on Hire My Mom who start off as a job seeker and then they come back as an employer hiring for their business. So it's always my favorite thing to see.
Mm. And tell us a little bit about how you support the employer side that's looking to connect with some of these moms. It sounds very boutique and niche, and I imagine there's some specific types of business owners that are looking to work with someone like you.
Yeah, we do. We tend to cater a lot to coaches, consultants, even doctors and lawyers, digital marketing agencies, e-commerce sites, um, any small businesses that are either fully remote or somewhat hybrid are typically the businesses that post jobs with us. And one thing that sets us apart is one, we are more of a boutique site. So when employers come to us and post a job, they don't get inundated with hundreds or thousands of resumes like they do on some of the mega job boards because no small business owner can manage that. And on our site, depending on what type of job it is, they might get, 40 or 50 applicants. So it's much more manageable for that business owner who's hiring. Then about 4 or 5 years ago, we started getting more businesses who were saying, I need to hire, but either I don't have time, I don't like to hire, or I don't have the skills to hire. Can you help? And at first I was like, no, I don't have time to help you either. And then the light bulb went off and I thought, okay, I don't have time, but I could hire someone and we could offer this as another service. So we started offering our concierge done for you hiring service. So I have an HR professional who will do the entire project for a business owner from posting the job, selecting candidates to interview, creating the interview questions, the whole package. And then when she's done, she'll present the top 2 or 3 candidates to the business, and then they can interview and decide which one they want to hire. So that's been something that's really set us apart too from other job sites because they're too big to do, hands-on things like that. And we're not recruiters or staffing agencies, so we don't have the ginormous fees that they have either. So it's more affordable for the small business owner too.
Yeah. And what about the moms that are looking to be marketed on your site? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we also offer services for the job seeker. One of them is called a career jumpstart session. So the HR professional we have working on that will help them with actionable feedback on their resume and cover letter. They'll give them insight on what types of jobs will best align with their background, their skills, their interests. They'll give them strategies to help them stand out, and then they'll give them clarity on next steps. And then if somebody wants even more help than that, we have our personal career strategist offering. And that's the ultimate one-on-one support to help members get hired faster. So that comes with a detailed review of the resume and cover letter. It gives strategic job guidance on to help them land the right role. It gives them insights on what skills or certificates they might need to strengthen their profile. It gives them up-to-date market research on a fair salary or hourly wage expectation. And then we also do daily job matching. So if we see something that matches what this person's looking for, we'll send that directly to them. So it's very much a service to help them focus and get the job as quick as possible.
Yeah. It's really great to hear you talk about what you've invented, and I hear it, I can see like this is Fiverr for freelancers. Like
Mhm.
these are but you've just really targeted, and strategy is the word that comes to mind. There is so much strategy in building a business and hiring and figuring out how you can scale. And you have a lot of really great strategy that you're bringing to businesses. So I commend you for that. And thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
your
absolutely. Thank you.
story and how you're building out strategies that have worked for you for others.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I assume we can go to hiremymom.com for more information. Is there anywhere else you want to send us if people wanted to just engage with your content?
Yeah, thank you for that. So we do have a free smart hiring guide. So if somebody in your audience is thinking about hiring but has questions, our hiring guide answers a bazillion questions and it's free. So they can get that at hiremymom.com/podcast. It's a free download. And then you can find us on all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X at Hire My Mom. and also connect with me on LinkedIn at Lesley Pyle.
Excellent. Well, I promise those three questions for those that are still tuned in. My first question, Lesley, is what is your superpower?
I think my superpower would be passion. I
Mm.
think passion is what drives me to not only help women, but to also help businesses. And, now that we have four children, just one left at home. She's a senior, so we'll soon be empty nesters, but it's still such a passion of mine. I don't see myself not doing what I'm doing because here I am, really 30 years into working from home and starting as a freelancer to now owning this business. And it's just the passion that drives me. I think when you have a passion, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like what you get to do, and you also get to earn money doing it.
Mm. And what's your purpose?
My purpose, I'd say my purpose is to live life that honors God, that glorifies God, and that leads others to Him through not just my words, but my actions too. So I really tried to run my business with honesty, integrity, and excellence because I want all that I do to glorify Him.
I think part of what I'm hearing for a successful business strategy is passion and purpose. Are
Yes.
a very clear purpose that's bigger than the business that you serve itself. My last question is what's next for you?
Well, we are creating a brand new web app for Hire My Mom. So we're taking what we offer now and taking it to the next level technology wise. So I'm so excited about it because it'll give our job seekers and our businesses so much more room to hire and get hired with the technology that we're so desperately needing. So that's in launch phase. I'm hoping that they'll have that ready in the next month or two. So it's been another big investment for us, but it was time. It was time we went to the next level.
And I always give our guests the last word. So anything you'd like to share for our listeners?
Yeah, I would say just if you're in a season where you're not quite sure what the next step is really spend some time soul searching. Where are your passions? Where is your heart? Where do you want your legacy to be? Like, someday when people talk about remembering you, what do you want them to remember about you? And then set a plan in motion to make that come true.